Alright, y'all. We got a super simple tutorial today on how to make a custom list color. So I'm just going to start here in CodePen so that I can share this in the description with everybody so you can take a look at the code. But like I said, this is going to be super simple. You shouldn't probably have to look up this code. So I'm just going to start by making a couple lists here. Start with an unordered list and put a couple list items in here. So in the past, when we've needed to, add a custom color to a bullet point or an ordered list number, we've had to basically use a custom pseudo element, like using a before pseudo element, taking the list style off of the list, and adding in a custom element or a custom piece of text or something like that to accomplish this. And that gets a little messy just because you tend to have to then absolutely position the pseudo element to get it in the right spot. And that's fine and it works. But where it gets a little tough is when you have a like a sublist or a nested list. So actually, let's do an ordered list here. I'm going to drop one in here too. So then if you have this nested list, it gets kind of messy because then you also have to account for the spacing for this. So then your CSS is essentially getting duplicated, but with a better spacing for this. And then when you also look at something like an ordered list, which maybe we don't use as much as an unordered list, but with an ordered list, to get these, say, custom numbers or whatever you wanted to use, you would have to use something like a counter in CSS, which is also relatively new, but maybe in the past even you'd have to use JavaScript, which we want to avoid using JavaScript for simple things like this if possible. But of course, if the CSS spec doesn't help us out, then we have to resort to JavaScript. But fortunately, the CSS spec and browsers have caught up and have given us this really nice pseudo element called marker. So I'm just going to do a broad selection here and put a marker pseudo selector on all of my LIs. And what we can do is just color this like we would text. So we can just use color and put a color in here. I'm going to go grab a color. Put that in here. And then it's going to apply this color to all of our list item markers. So like I said, this is really great because we don't have to fiddle with putting in some sort of custom content with a before pseudo class or pseudo element, or figuring out some sort of counter, or end up using JavaScript. So this is really, really great. And this will go as deep as you need. So if you put another, put an ordered list in here or something, you can go as deep as you need and it'll continue to color them. So yeah, like I said, this is super simple. This is supported in all modern browsers, of course not in IE, but I don't think that that's a big deal. This fails pretty gracefully if you just didn't have this. If the pseudo element or the pseudo element marker wasn't being applied, say in IE or an older browser, it just defaults to whatever the text color is. So, it's a relatively safe, newer CSS spec to use. So I would encourage you to use this rather than JavaScript or trying to create some sort of custom solution. So I hope this is helpful. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next one.